Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, one half a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us.
Hell yeah.
They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second.
Hello everybody, and once again I will ask the same question I asked on my other podcast, is if you are not happy, I will, well, it's more of a statement than a question, I will return double your money back. And I'm not selling a product, I am just giving away all the useless information I have, some of the good information I get from people that are much smarter than me. The one thing I had going for me in this life is I was a good listener growing up. Now my wife says I'm a horrible listener, but at least I got it all in at an early age, and I'm still trying to sort it out. But all we can do is just make the best decision with the information we have, and if we're trying to make the best decision, is it always the best? Well, maybe not, but it's the best decision we can make. So we're moving in the right direction. I was just watching TV this morning, and of course we all saw the car plowing through the Times Square and killing one person, one girl, 18-year-old girl, and injuring a few others. And the first thing everybody's thinking is terrorism, and whether it's terrorism or not. And I think, let's say this person is just mentally deranged and has issues, and obviously they do, otherwise they wouldn't have done that. But who's to say that he wasn't influenced by, we're all focused on Times Square because of the target that's like a very lucrative target for terrorists. So I think the fact that terrorism exists in the United States now is going to it gets momentum going, because people are thinking, oh man, they're so sensitive about this kind of thing. Well, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to mimic what a terrorist would do just to be influential. It's funny, I remember being younger, and you always hear about Israelis being bombed at nightclubs and the rockets coming in, and there was a nice innocent moment of, you're an American, you're safe. And I couldn't imagine going to any sort of district in the evening and worrying about being bombed. That was such a foreign thought. And within my lifetime, probably within the next 10 years, here we, post 9/11, that is a possibility. If I go to, I remember when we had that terrorist shooting in San Bernardino, that was 14 people got killed. I went to a concert, a TSO concert in the Ontario Pavilion, and that was like the closest big arena to where that shooting happened. And I went to the first big venue after that happened, and it was like the week later, and it was sold out. And I walked in there, there's only 2 cops at the door, and we're talking about, I don't know, 14,000 people. Just to imagine a Laker game. I don't know how many seats they got, but a lot of people. At least it looked like a people. And then there's people on the floor, just like a sea of flesh. And thinking, God, this is a terrorist dream. And then I'm thinking, oh yeah, there's only 2 cops. So the first thing you do is you can't help but think, okay, let's say there's a copycatter, and what? Oh gosh, because to me, if somebody's going to do something, they're going to want to go out with the most effect and the most notoriety. And who cares if they're actually ISIS members or not? They're like, hey, they're going to jump on board, even if it's at the last minute. Everybody wants to belong to a cause. And I'll talk about it a little bit later. But so I remember sitting in there thinking, gosh, if something happens, so I'm looking at all the exits. I tell the kids where the exits are. And in my mind, I'm thinking, God, I wish I had a pistol. Just even if it's not effective, just for my own, security, just to feel better, whether it's useful, because everybody's going to come up with the situation where a gun is not useful. Well, I can come up with a couple situations where it was useful, and that's the situations it's for. And if it calms my nerves a bit, so be it. If I go a lifetime without using it, it still would be nice. That's all I'm saying. Or it'd be nice to have other people that had one. Good people. The emphasis. We'll talk about that a little bit later too. And this does coincides with what my podcast is. It's about health and wellness and bettering yourself and being happier. And because these things are related, because you can apply these things to other topics. What I think is important. And one of the things, so you're sitting in there and you're thinking, God, and then you're leaving, and then now everybody's leaving at one time, and I'm thinking there's so many opportunities to create havoc that when I hear that, oh, one person died, again, that's everything to the friends and family and that girl, and then the people around that witnessed it are affected. But on a scale of what it could be, unfortunately, it was that one person, but it could have been hundreds and hundreds, if not more, if planned right. And I always say that the next terrorist thing would be, and I've been saying this for years, was here we create the TSA because the terrorists flew the plane in the building, so we have all this security now. Well, now you got a cluster of people in front of where all the real security is, on the plane, and now literally you have a public road that funnels into where there's crowds of people, and then a public road to get you out of there. And I'm thinking, well, hello, you don't think terrorists are already drawing plans? And they probably already did. There's so many things that happen. You start to lose track. And again, this is the America where a few years ago, before 9/11, we just thought, oh man, that's just reserved for Israel and other Middle Eastern countries. But we used to be all the jokes of, oh yeah, I'd rather be a valet parker in Beirut in front of the Marriott, just because you associate bombs with those countries, and here we are now with the not just the metal detectors, but the posts that go up in front of federal buildings and everything else. And my stepdad, he's he's getting grumpy in his old age, so we're always joking around about stuff and bouncing things off each other. And I do appreciate the life coach aspect in people when I get that. And so he brought up one time the percentage, he's good with numbers, the percentage of if you were to be killed by a terrorist, what are the odds? And it was 0.000 whatever, so it's almost not even worth worrying about. And although that is something that I think we should all focus, is what are the odds. That doesn't make it any less stressful when you are at a venue and, like I was saying, you have all these people, and then now there's no security. and I don't know why I brought up that he was grumpy. I was going to tie it in because I remember thinking about something, but when it comes up, I'll let you know. Anyway, so you have this. Okay, it does. It is nice to say, okay, it's 0.000 whatever. But the one thing is, okay, yes, it is 0.000 whatever, but we need to make sure it stays that way. And, Israel, if they can go back in time, I'm sure, and do something that was effective, they would. I don't know if they can, because I think a lot of it is just prophetic. It says that there'll always be war in that land. But we here in America, we are so smart. We have so much data and there's studies and examples across the world that, we see it happening in other countries where kind of anything goes. You got to be everybody's best friend. But, I grew up in a world in America that if there was something that threatened safety, they just said, no, you can't do that. And you want to go in the corner and hold your breath, go ahead and do it. But no, America's like, no, we're smart. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do that because of public safety. Because, we are in a community. In a community, there's millions of people. 300 million people in the United States. So you have to live a certain way. And there's certain things you can do and there's certain things you can't do. Just like in Japan, it's everybody has masks on because a common cold could be an epidemic. So when you're in an island with, I don't know, billion people, whatever, a lot, maybe not that much, but I should have did a little more research. Story of my life. So everybody has masks on because you can't pass the common cold because there's too many people in too tight of quarters. And so we're here in the United States, and there's things that we can't do because of public safety, and that's fine. So as we, there's things that I'd like to do that I know that would keep my family safer, but I can't. There are laws, and it is what it is. Because if everybody did it, then we'd probably be more unsafe with certain things. But in any event, we see these things coming down the pike. Like I think it's Sweden. They in France, maybe even Germany, they're thinking about reversing the very liberal laws for the certain countries where people were fleeing, and they're saying, oh, because of this, that, and the other, the Islamic countries that were creating problems. We all hear about the no-go zones where there's certain towns, kind of like over here we have Chinatown, but where there's a Muslim population, and they would enact the Sharia law and other things, and the cops are like, I'm not going there. It's too crazy. Women just do not feel safe because there's a rape epidemic, and I'm not saying that a Muslim over here is the same as a Muslim over there. I think the thing about the West is we tend to make things better. When people talk about the Christians, when they would, whatever it is, I'm drawing a blank. The Crusaders, that when it came to America hashes things out. They're like, no, we need to be more of evangelical Christians and evangelize instead of making people believe by strong-arming them. And people say, oh, well, what about the witch hunts in Massachusetts? And, well, yeah, I think one person died, and that was a lot of, politics. And it was doing something very wrong, and eventually we fixed it. You can say that with everything about slavery and everything else. We did work on it. It's put to a free society, and we work these things out over here. But in other cultures, it's been thousands of years with no change. And you have to look at, are you trying to do the better thing or are you not? Because that's all you could do. You're not going to get perfection in anything. In fact, you cannot be perfectly content.